Well, it's time to find out which kind of Lucian it's going to be as we get on into this match. ShadowFish against Kircix. Here we go. And right off the bat, ShadowFish with some guns. We haven't seen a lot of gunplay. The other Lucians we've seen have all been Qatar heavy. So I'm curious to see if the gunplay is coming out. And right off the bat, ShadowFish seems to be doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, I know we saw some good gunplay out of Nyx earlier today, but it looks like ShadowFish can be showing off some Lucian gunplay, some shades of Dr. Phazon from the NA side. But Kircix, he's got some Qatars of his own. Lots of Qatars coming out from the Australia scene. Fireballs come out, not able to connect onto ShadowFish. ShadowFish on the main stage with the Qatars in hand. Kircix gets on top of him, already putting ShadowFish into that kill spot. And this is kind of one of those pitfalls of going in with this higher dexterity, very low force Lucian. It is difficult for him to build this damage onto Kircix. He's got to maintain a lot of pressure on top of Kircix in order to stay even.
Yeah, despite all the hits we've seen him land. Oh, the dare working against him as he just runs right into that weapon throw from Kircix, loses his first stock. And despite all those hits, like I was saying, Kircix only in the orange.
Yeah, it's just going to trade out in Kircix's favor every single time Shadow gets a hit. If Kircix can respond with one or two of his own, he's basically taking the lead. This time, Shadow back to the blasters. He had a little bit of success early on with the blasters. Decided to swap over to Qatars. Might be deciding to stay with the blasters as Kircix gets a nice weapon toss into the pickup neutral line. Downlight, Sair. Weapon toss down from Shadow as he's looking for the kill option with the unarmed.
I mean, unarmed is definitely... I know a lot of players will say unarmed is a great option for getting final kills.
It's not bad. It's odd that he would actively choose to go away from blasters, which has... I mean, it's got side sig, neutral sig, which hits on the ground and the recovery. All fairly decent kill options.
He hasn't been going for a lot of SIGs, though. I feel like it's mostly been like, hey, here's a bunch of gun light attacks. I'm not as familiar with the SIGs. I'm just going to go unarmed. Here's a breakdance. That'll kill.
Shadow definitely behind in the damage department. He does get that stock with that breakdance, but he's going to need a lot of damage. He's got to maintain pressure on top of Kircix. Every time Kircix is able to get a hit onto Shadow, that just widens the gap. That is going to basically secure game one as Kircix is a full stock ahead. Shadow's got to get something big if he wants to get back into this.
Kircix now. Good gravity cancel neutral light there. Interrupting the approach from Shadow. ShadowFish now with the Qatars. He found the dare, but he expected the dodge in from Kircix, and Kircix is just not biting right now. ShadowFish with a nice side air into the downlight, gets a side sig. Can he get another signature down sig? Can he get another signature neutral? Oh, okay.
Went for the recovery read. Expected Kircix to go for that dodge over, but instead Kircix kind of sat back on the left side. There's a slide charge side sig. Suddenly Shadow showing some shades of life. The fireball does connect onto ShadowFish. Can he finish this off? Can he get Kircix down to the final stocks and try to come back into game two? There's the neutral light. Didn't go for some sort of jump pivot recovery or any sort of neutral signature follow-up. Instead, just kind of waited for the dodge from Kircix.
He
and trying to get that dodge read.
A lot of gun recoveries. He was just struggling to get this kill, and so I think that's part of the reason that he had switched to unarmed before. Although in that case, he really just went for Qatars for the final kill option.
Yeah, just decided to swap over, throw out that signature. But he's staying on top of Kircix. If he can avoid any more major damage, then might see ShadowFish come back into this, as Kircix has yet to get any momentum back from ShadowFish in this final stock. ShadowFish playing like a real final stock warrior.
When ShadowFish getting interrupted, the neutral light not working. Down sig from ShadowFish. He's trying to avoid getting killed. The recovery on the stage. He doesn't have the dodge. ShadowFish.
He just rolled off the stage and said, bye. ShadowFish is giving away game one. Fell off the stage, couldn't get back on up. And that's going to be Kircix taking game one. And ShadowFish is now one game away. He was making the comeback, though. He showed a lot of strength there. And then he fell.
Sad life for ShadowFish. He drowned. He's not. He's.
I mean, he didn't drown in pools. Pools are over. So ShadowFish made it out of pools.
He went very deep and could not breathe and make it back to stage. It wasn't
His
working.
gills turned off.
That
Small
sounds
Brawlhaven.
very
ShadowFish, another Lord Vrax coming out
Ooh.
from the Australian players. Very interesting pick. He's going to be going in with his 7 dexterity. Vrax decided, okay, maybe going away from force into dexterity on the Lucian was a bad idea. Or maybe he just really likes 7 dexterity as a whole. But he's going to be going in with
Good
this
sweet
7
spot.
dexterity for force Lucian.
And
Staying
his
with the
guns are
blasters.
very strong on the Lucian, specifically for damage dealing. I think he was struggling with getting kills, but at the very least, damage dealing with the gun, even on a low attack character. And so, getting onto Vrax here, I'm curious to see if he's going to be able to, like, you know, get the damage with the guns and then switch over to that lance and just, you know, go for these sidelight recoveries to get the kills.
But Kircix is getting those hits on top of him. Wanted the dare opportunity, couldn't quite get it. Charging it up. Shadow not able to punish. Didn't get the height that he wanted for that side heavy. Another interrupt from Kircix. Kircix is doing such a good job of interrupting Shadow. Every time Shadow starts walking forward, starts trying to throw something out, he gets caught by a weapon toss from Kircix, and that's going to be the first stock off the haymaker.
Kircix now preventing Shadow from picking up a weapon. I'm curious if he's going to even try to keep that up. No, instead goes for that side air. Shadow manages to get these guns. We'll see if he's able to rack up damage. Right now, Kircix continues to have this lead.
Ooh, the double chase dodge to get behind Shadow. I expected a dodge in, dodge up, maybe a dare approach, but instead Kircix just completely getting the other side of ShadowFish. He is controlling ShadowFish every single time ShadowFish tries to come back, tries to gain momentum. He gets caught. The neutral sig off stage. Kircix needs to finish the stock. The dare sends him off, but Shadow doesn't have jumps. He doesn't get the dare for the turnaround, and Kircix is looking at a 3 stock.
Kircix is looking so strong right now. I don't even think it's that the Vrax is a worse pick for him. I think Kircix is just playing extremely well in game 2 right now.
Kircix is playing so well. Shadow, he's got strong blasters. You can see the shades of it, but every single time he tries to come back, he starts thinking about it. He gets caught by a weapon toss. He drops the recovery. The neutral sig comes out, finally finishes the stock off of Kircix. Gonna deny that 3 stock, but Kircix still in a commanding position.
Now Kircix is going to be able to get his hands on that weapon, fight the neutralite from Shadow. Shadow going for the gravity cancel downlight. I was going to say it wasn't working out, but Kircix actually jumped right into the very tip of it. And Kircix now pulling out some good guitar hits, trying to find these signatures that he's found so
Fireball.
far. There's the neutral.
Oh,
Weapon
avoids
throw.
the weapon toss.
Almost sort of ground pounds into a nice double downlight. It was a fancy play, but
Why?
he didn't recovery. Why not?
I mean, yeah, I guess at this point, like, you do whatever you want. You live your truth. You're gone. Neutral. The recovery comes out. That was just kind of funny. He was just like, I'm going to do a double downlight right now.